So, do you think employment at Mervyn Con did it prepare you in any way for your later experiences?
Well, I learned a lot there, and you know, you're just coming out of school, and then you meet all these people, and you know them, but you don't really know them, you know. And then you get to meet them all, and yeah, I guess in a way, because I planned my wedding, and you know, what have you, and one of the seamstresses in our ladies ready to wear altered my dress and made me a little tulle thing, you know, to go on it at her house, and I picked it up, and different things, yeah. And my parents had already taught us how to handle our money, you know, and of course working, and it taught you how to, it helped you to continue to know how to manage your money, so you'd wind up even at the end of the month. You still had some coins and not any more days.
Yeah. So it was mostly just Leo Kahn who ran the business, and he was there every day?
Oh yes, Mr. Kahn took care of everything. He was the chief. He was the CEO, and he was a principal guy.
And you were talking about his mother was influential?
Well, she lived upstairs, and
What was her name?
all I know is Mrs. Mervyn is all we called her. And she would come down every now and then, and she was frail towards the end, and of course a lot of times we brought her back to her quarters. And but all the family would come in and out, you know.
And they were all very respectful to the employees. And
oh yeah, I mean, you know, they were really nice. Mr. Julian was a principal guy as well as Mr. Leo, but he didn't do any of the. Mr. Leo was the man. And or if his sisters came and they saw that something was not, they'd you know, correct it. They'd see that it was taken care of and whatever. But they were always very, very kind. They were never ugly or rude to us, you know. They were always.
What was your favorite memory of Mervyn Con?
Well, when Mr. Leo was in charge, every year we had a Christmas party. And that's when he gave everybody there, we got our little checks, our little bonus checks. And that was a great thing. And we'd have drinks and food and what have you. And when we took inventory, everybody worked everywhere, wherever you were needed. And somebody needed a writer, or they would call the merchandising, and you had to record it, you know. And then we'd work different places, and we'd all go to lunch at the same time, so we could go wherever we wanted, and then just be back, you know, after our hour was over with, and just enjoyed ourselves. I mean, you know.
Did they ever have, this is kind of a random question, did they ever have any kind of music system in the store?
Yeah, we had Muzak.
Okay.
When it first came out, I guess. Or when we first got it, you know. And yes, we did.
Did I hit record again? Oh. Apparently we're using up a lot of tape here. Excellent. That's why I have another one.
I'm long-winded.
That's alright. We did these practice interviews the other day, and apparently I talk a lot when I'm in that position, so it's interesting stuff. My mom grew up in a little town.
Did
actually
she?
kind of reminds me of this one. She's from Eastern Washington.
I see. This was a little town, and it hasn't grown a whole lot since.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger, actually, than where my mom was from. So.
So everybody has a different person they're interviewing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're all going to compile it and edit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, now we're rolling. So there was a speaker system of some sort for the music to play?
Yes, and if we needed to page somebody, we could page them. And it wasn't loud, long, blasting music. It was soothing, you know, Glenn Miller type thing.
Yeah. What was your least favorite memory?
My least favorite memory.
It was all pretty good.
Well, when I told Mr. Jankow I was going to leave the store because I was going to get married, and my husband was a lot older than I was. He said, "Oh, you'll be back." And I thought, well, I didn't like that.
Did men and women have different roles within the store?
Every department had a buyer,
Mm-hmm.
and
And that was usually a man? Was that usually the man's job?
no, they had women. Whoever ran like the lady in the ladies' department, she was in charge, but they all reported to either Mr. Leo, and then after he died, Mr. Jankow, and then they would decide what they needed, and they'd go. They'd take them as buyers, and they'd go to Dallas market, and then to New York they'd go twice a year, once to Dallas and once to New York. And I don't remember how many, but there were quite a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Buyer from each department, and then the Mr. and Mrs. Jankow would go. And then new merchandise would come in, and then we'd all run down there and see what was new. And Mr. and Mrs. Jankow with the office force, I don't know if they did it to everybody, but they gave us a lingerie set every year. Pajama and robe, or gown and robe, or whatever.
And what was the names of the people who took over?
Well, yeah, it was the sister's son-in-law that came.
Mm-hmm.
Edel, E-D-E-L, Jankower, Jankower. See, after Mr. Leo died, then he came, and he was the new CEO. He took care of the garments and the whatever, but the warehouse and the hardware and the houseware, Mr. Foreman was in charge of that. Mr. Barney Foreman. He was a son-in-law as well, but you know.
Right. Then were there certain jobs that only the men could do, and certain jobs only the women could do, or was it pretty equal?
Well, each person took care of their department and took care of their merchandise, and then we had a receiving department who would mark everything and bring it up front, and just whatever you was responsible for, you see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And both single and married women worked, or is it just single?
Single and married, old ladies, widowed ladies. all departments had them, widowed ladies and elderly and...
Did some women quit when they get married like you did?
Yes, some did. Some stayed like I did the first time. I didn't leave the first time. And yeah, a lot of them. We didn't have too... Well, when I was there, everybody was... we didn't have too many high school or young people. That came in after I left, I think. After 71 was when I left, I think. That's when they had younger generation.
Right.
The group we had, like I said, would just be there working for summertime. The college kids.
Did women ever take pregnancy leaves and then not come back? Or?
Most of them came back.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
And there wasn't any kind of rules about that or anything? This is kind of whenever you felt you could work?
Not to my knowledge. See, I never had any children, so then I don't know what they're...
But they did come back to work after?
Most of them did.
Okay.
Yes, most of them did.
Were there any kind of racial or ethnic distinctions?
No, because, yeah, we had colored people working with us. And...
Did they have certain jobs, or just whatever needed to be done?
Well, after I left, yeah, they had, one of the colored ladies became, I think she became a buyer in the ladies' department. And, but like I said, I was already gone. But, yeah, they had, well, that was no problem. There never was any distinction, you know. We worked with them and... We ate with them, you know.
There wasn't any, like, everyone who came in was welcome too. There wasn't any kind of bias.
Right. In fact, the maid had coffee with two of us every afternoon. We'd make our coffee. We had, they had a coffee pot. We always had a coffee pot up there where everybody'd come up and have a cup of coffee. Well, we'd tell her, Rena, it's time to clean the coffee pot. Yes, ma'am. And then she'd have coffee with us. And if we brought something from home, and we always shared.
Did you notice a lot of German immigrants? Or?
Oh yeah, at Roberts Cove, everybody bought there. And there were big rice farmers, and so they would charge all year long, you see, and when the crops would come in, they'd come in and pay their bills, you know.
Was there a certain part of town where a lot of black people lived, or is it pretty spread?
Yeah, well, more, yeah, they did kind of cater to their part of town.
But they still shop at Ribbon Con and everything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And the Con family had a lot of farms, and their farmers would come in, and you know, and they had a lot of rental property.
Right.
Another thing we had to take care of.